What's up, man? Welcome back to our Sunday conversation.
Hey, man, this week we get a chance to sit down with one of the top coaches in the state of Kentucky, Coach Chris Wolfe from the Male High School Bulldogs. Coach, man, I don't care what nobody say about it. We get the big time coaches, coach. If you anybody, we'll get you on Big Things Kentucky, baby. Say that with you one-on-one. Coach, big interview here. Yep, Coach, man, first of all, I want to welcome you to Big Things Kentucky. It's our first time getting to sit down with you. Now, Coach, first I want to apologize for my co-host here. I know he has probably stalked you and showed up at your house sometimes in the front yard. He's been at every game you show up at. He's got a man crush on you, Coach. I'm sorry he has a man crush on you. He has a couple of them, but his affection with you is probably to a different level, Coach. So I won't apologize for him.
I know I met one of you guys at
Bryan Station.
Station. What was that?
Sir.
Like 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You beat up on my defenders, Coach. You beat up on my defenders pretty bad. You did. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey, we win and we ride, Coach. I love a winning program. Now, coming from PRP, you came to the male program, which was, I guess, you want to say down, and now you've risen it back up to its prominence. Here you are, really the only public school to challenge the state private schools. How you pull that off, Coach?
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing because we went through a period of time when we moved to 6A, which was 07 or 08, I can't remember now. A lot of the push for 6A was just because there was only the 4 divisions and the privates were just dominating at least one division, 4A, because male was the last public school to win, and that was in 2000. When I got here, there was even this talk, and there was a trophy that said public school, large public school champion, large division, public school champion. Really, they had put together a trophy. And so what did that tell you is the idea was like we were never going to get back to having some competitive public-private competition at the largest division in Kentucky football. And it wasn't easy because they put us in a super district that next year. If you guys remember that.
Yeah.
So I took the job in 2010. We made it to the state finals, but we weren't even competitive against we were competitive against St. X that year, but nobody was competitive against Trinity that year. Then they put us in the super district. So you had Manual, Male, St. X, and Trinity. And Trinity was on a run of guys that were just an unbelievable group. Very similar to this group this year, but on the offensive side. This year was on the defensive side where they had 7 or 8 guys that were just the best in their position. They had it on the offensive side with the running back and the quick kid and the quarterback, and they just were really loaded. They were beating everybody, the snot out of everybody. So it just took us to answer your question. What you got to is how did we get back to finally being what I will say being competitive. We have beaten during that decade, starting in 2013, we had 8 wins against Trinity. And just to put that in perspective, I think Bob Beatty in his 20 years only lost 44 games.
Yeah.
So 8 of those losses were just within the last 8 years to male. So we finished the decade. I think we were 8-7 against Trinity in that decade. We were certainly the only team to have a winning record. They won 7 state championships.
Yeah.
And we were 8-7 against them, and of course lost both games this year. But the best I can answer to you is we got our kids to believe that we never back down from the competition at freshman level, JV level, and a varsity level. And I've told people this. I think it does your kids a disservice. If you want to play for championships, you have to play these people, in my opinion, the Trinities and the St. X's and even the males now. You have to play us, if you can, on the freshman and JV level. That's been my approach, that you start with the young kids and you start with the mental part of it. And, we took our beatings just like everybody else did in 2010, 11, and 12. And then in 13, the tide turned and we beat them twice in 13. Trinity I'm talking about. We beat them twice in 15. We beat them twice again in 18, regular season and playoffs. So to me, the difference was mentally my kids, when we go out there, it's not like we don't think we can win. We certainly play, and our guys feel like we have an opportunity to win.
Man, that's well said, Coach. You know, I don't think a lot of people do try to avoid them, but like you said, you go on face them early on, you beat the shock. I remember seeing Brian Shackson playing back in '99 with kids like JT Hoskins. They played St. X with JT Haskins and stuff like that. And they're looking at the sideline. They had over almost 100 kids on the sideline, you know, and here we are with 30-some-odd kids. So you're right, that is a shock to a lot of kids to look over and see that.
That Bryan Station team you're talking about also had a guy named Eric Shelton on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We scheduled, I was at Wagner in 2000, believe it or not, and we scheduled Bryan Station, and we did a home and home with them. And they went to the state finals, like you said, and I think ended up losing to St. X in overtime, I believe.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
But something happened in like 2004, 2005, and the two privates just took off. And the difference between the two privates and everybody else in public school widened. And I like to feel like, you know, we've been able in most years. Now, let's be honest, this year we weren't able to close that gap with Trinity this year. They just had one of those teams. Whenever Trinity or St. X doesn't do it very much, but Trinity plays a bunch of sophomores, and we beat them in 18, and all those guys were sophomores. And it was a tough game. We were down at halftime. It was out here. This is 2018. We were down 20-14 at halftime and outscored them in the second half, 14-0. But all of those kids on defense were sophomores. And so they all, obviously, the next 2 years, to have the talent and the experience, they just were very few teams could even touch them. And we certainly didn't get very close this year.
Now, you kind of got to smile about that statement, because this team that we put out this year was kind of young, relatively young, as far as, you know, the players that we were playing this year. So we're looking for big things coming out this next season.
So we return. I've never had a team. I've gone back and I've analyzed our 2015 state championship team and our 2018 state championship team, and then our 2019 and 2020 state final team. The difference in the state champion versus the state final team is offensive line. In both of the 15 and 18, we returned 60% of our offensive line. So basically at least 3 out of 5. This past year, we only returned 1 out of 5. Now this coming year, we actually return all 5. Yeah. So I've never had a team return all 5. And in both 2018 and 2015, we had to start a new quarterback. And this year, Nick Shuddy returns as the quarterback. So in my 10 years at Male, I've only had a returning quarterback twice. That was Davis Mattingly, and he was 2013, 2014. And then this year, or this coming year, with Nick Shuddy. So that speaks to the offensive side. We have another guy named Vinny Anthony who plays wide receiver, who has an offer from Duke, a lot of MAC offers. I just talked to the new recruiter, the new staff at Vanderbilt last night, and they seem very interested in Vinny also. So he's coming back on the offensive side, along with the quarterback, along with the line. And then defensively, we return what I think is the best defensive lineman in the state, Selah Brown. And Selah's been starting for us since a freshman. His first start as a freshman was against Scott County in the state finals, and we lined him up against Tredson. You remember, Selah tells that story quite a bit now in the recruiting circles. And he was one of the reasons we were able to control Scott County. We didn't stop the wing T, or way too good to be totally stopped, but we were able to control enough to be victorious in that game. And a lot of that was because of Selah being able to hold his own. That's as a freshman in the state finals. Now here we are 4 years later. He started in that game. Another guy, Elijah Manning, who plays linebacker for me, started in that game. He's going to be a senior. Ramel Sheffield, who didn't start as a freshman, but has been starting as a sophomore as a safety, also started for us. So we return 9 or 10 guys on defense that start, depending on how you count it, as far as games started and whatnot. So I have to say this is a team in my 22 years, the 15 team, and I'm honoring them today. I got their sweatshirt on. I didn't mean to do that, but the 15 team was the best team I've ever coached. They're 15-0, ranked as high, finished ranking as high as number 8 in the nation, finished number 18 by Max Preps. And that team was just an amazing team. This 2021 team is on paper has got the potential to be at that level. So it's we'll have to see how it plays out.
Now, Coach, man, right now, this upcoming schedule, you currently have 2 openings right now in the schedule. Speaking with the talent you have and how good you all looked last year and how better you're going to be this year, how hard is it going to be to fill them 2 slots, Coach?
All right, so you guys should be following me on Twitter because I put out our new schedule last night.
Yeah, okay.
It went out last night. So we have, first of all, the spot that I filled, we had put an ad in Ohio. We had put an ad in Indiana, and we had put an ad in Tennessee. And I had spoke to several teams in Ohio, the biggest of the big, and we couldn't get a date. Like they were a date off. Canton McKinley was one of them, I'll just tell you. Indiana, there wasn't anybody. In Tennessee, I thought I talked to Oakland, Tennessee, which would have been a fantastic game. Oakland was 15-0 last year. And great public school program. And so I thought it would have been great for the 2 public school programs to play. It just didn't work out their date. So we couldn't get that. So long story short, we're going to play in New Orleans against a team called John Curtis, Louisiana. John Curtis is a private school, and they are just outside of New Orleans. We'll come back down to earth, at least roster-wise, in 2022, and then we'll see what's out there. But we filled it with John Curtis, Louisiana, and it'll be the first time that Male has played outside of a state that borders us since I found this out last night on the internet. Since 1952, Male played in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Oh, wow.
And got smoked 26-0. But so this is a unique thing. So I think it's appropriate with the class that we have. They've been to 3 straight state finals and won 1, that they kind of go out with something unique. So I put that out last night. That's October 1st. We're going to be traveling down there to play John Curtis, Louisiana, John Curtis Patriots. And they're a well-established program in Louisiana, well thought of. Easily, I think a top 5 program in Louisiana.
So this is going to be big for your national ranking for you as well. Are you discouraged that you wasn't able to find anybody in the surrounding counties that want to give you a shot and play against you?
In Kentucky or in the
yes,
other
sir. In Kentucky, you feel like it's kind of discouraging not to be able to. I mean, like you say, you got to be the best. You got to beat the best, and that to be you also.
Well,
kind of this.
Right. No, we have obviously we have St. X and Trinity on our non-district schedule. We have Ballard on our non-district schedule. We have Butler on our non-district schedule. We played Floyd Central, Indiana, who had a great team last year. It's sad that we didn't get to play them last year. And we have Manual on our non-district schedule. So there's not really many other teams in 6A. Out there for us to play. We would obviously want to play anybody in 6A, but it's really, the other programs, they have to run their program like, what's best for them. So I don't want to speak disparagingly about anybody else. I don't know their situation. Maybe there are a lot of, there's some teams out there that would have liked to play. And I can get, I just told you that in 22 years, this is going to be 1 or 2 of the best on paper teams I have coming back. I can understand teams not wanting to sign up for that. I get that, trust me. I get it.
Louisville is an open enrollment. Kind of explain to us how you get what's your talent pool?
Yeah.
as far
So
as
nobody's going to believe this. And that's fine. Everybody thinks Male can pick any kid. We actually have the most restrictive enrollment of any school in Jefferson County. I've been here. This will be my 12th season. We have 3 feeder schools, three middle schools, and those feed directly into Male. We are the only school in Jefferson County that has a primary feeder school. So if all of our slots get filled, we cannot take kids. And I say this and people don't believe me, like I'm making it up. Now, are there some years where we take kids? Yes, there'll be 10 to 12 spots, 15 spots or whatever, and they're drawn. I don't get to pick the kids. I don't even know the kids that get in. They go straight from a lottery. So I remember when Charlie, and I'll just make a point here, and people, again, they won't believe me, but I'll say it anyway. When Charlie Strong was here, I had just gotten a job, and his daughters played, at least one daughter played volleyball. And I remember talking to him, and he's like, well, I would like her to go to Male. And I was like, well, good luck with that, trying to get in. And if Charlie Strong couldn't get his daughter in the Male to play volleyball, I can promise you that it's not like people just get to pick who's coming in. So
now, in saying that, do you work closely with your middle school? You know, is it like a, you know, do you work with your feeder schools, or is it basically just whatever shows up when they're freshmen, that's what you work with?
Yeah. So I learned early on, when you're at Male, every eye is on you. So the first 3 years, it was letter after letter saying, I'm doing this wrong, I'm doing that wrong. They saw me I was at Target, I was talking to somebody, I was at this and that. So I don't go to anything. The only thing I go to is our 2 feeder schools. When they play, I go to that game, and that's a middle school game. But that's it. And that's usually once or twice a year. And I will speak at our 3, we have 3 feeder middle schools. 2 of them invite me to speak at their banquet. Now, they didn't have one this last year, but they invite me to speak at their banquet. And that's it. And that's all I'm allowed to do. I'm only allowed to interact with our feeder schools. I don't go down there and give them our offense to run, because quite frankly, some of those kids still go to St. X, Trinity, and Manual, and some Ballard. They just do. We don't get all of them. Now, we can't go into the private schools and get kids, and we can't go to the other middle schools and get kids unless the kids apply to get on the waiting list. And that one particular year, we're able to go to the waiting list, and their lottery number is high enough to where we can take them in. And it's a total crapshoot. I know nobody's going to believe that, but I've been doing it 11 years. I can tell you it's the absolute truth.
But Coach, man, I think that says a tremendous amount about you and your staff to be able to take whatever you get and turn it into what you have. I mean, out of 5 years, almost 4 state championship games, 2 championships. So that says a lot about you and your staff, Coach.
Well, I appreciate that.
Now, Coach, real quick before we close this out, I just want to ask you, you know, a lot of people know, you know, championships is near and dear to you as you're an alumni of Highlands High School. You know, we just recently, I know your alma mater went through a coaching change. It seems like anytime a coaching change comes up, your name pops up.
Yeah, I grew up there. I have a lot of great memories. I have incredibly close friends. Everybody knows the game of football is what brings people together, us guys that have played it. And I played it obviously in high school, and I played it in a small college. And I am close to that group. And the first group is my high school group. So I'm of the age where now the guys that I played with in high school, their kids are going to Highlands and they're playing, and they're desperate to get back to the championship level. So I have nothing but positive memories, and obviously I wish the best for them. They made a great hire in Bob Spire. We're actually going to scrimmage them August 6th. So it'll be the first time I've been up there to coach. You know, I played there 30 years ago or whatever it was. So, and I keep close tabs on them because, like I said, my best friends that I still talk with every day now, their sons are playing. And so when I get a chance, I go up there and watch them play. I think 2 years ago, we played PRP on a Thursday night, and I went and watched, it was the Jared Lorenzen game, where they dedicated the field. They had the UK band there. You guys remember that game? They played Connor. Ended up not being great because they ended up losing. But I went up there and watched that game. So, yeah, I still have great pride in Fort Thomas and certainly Highlands football. And I'm very hopeful that they'll get back to their championship ways.
Closer to the end of your career, you might get a phone call, Coach. We might see you up north. So, I don't know, Coach.
I don't know. Yeah. I love Male, and I love the guys I'm coaching here. And we have done, I'm proud of the job we've done. We're now second in all-time wins in the nation, just behind Valdosta. I think we're 26 wins away. And so that's going to take some time. But I know when we started here, we were fourth in the nation in all-time wins. What we have since passed, well, unfortunately, Highlands for them, but for us, that's good. And I think Canton McKinley was the other team that we passed. So a lot of pride here at Male, and really proud of the staff and the team that we have and the support that we have here too.
Brain, I know they said you was actually an option man, wing T guy.
Yeah, that's right. I came to Male. I never had quarterbacks lined out the door like I do at Male. Like I was searching the halls at Wagner and PRP. Where's my quarterback? And then I find a kid that can hand off the ball, which is about all we did. And that was it. But here, I got dudes that can line up and they throw it across the field and throw it down the field. And I'm like, and they're a senior, there's a junior, there's a sophomore, there's a freshman. Like, these guys can do more than hand off the ball. So, and it just fit what we have here. And now you see why Coach Redmond was so successful throwing the ball here too. But we like to run it too. We will run the ball. Yeah.
That's Like, Coach, I'm tell you what, we appreciate you joining us, kind of sitting down with us. It's been a pleasure. My co-host has had a smile on his face the whole time, Coach. I ain't seen him this happy when he gave with his 3 kids born, Coach. So you made the fat kids wish over every joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Man, great conversation with my coach, Coach Wolfe, man. Looking for bigger things out the Bulldogs this upcoming season, Coach. We doing big things, baby.
Coach, I ain't see the smile on your face like it, Coach. I'm telling you what, in a long time, Coach. It was like you. Look at you, Coach. Just sitting there. Look at you.
We winning, we ride, Coach.
Your little heart was flattered and stuff. I'm telling you what, boy. Where's Coach TC is, boy? He gonna be like, I'm sick. I'm done with you. That relationship's about to crumble up, Coach. About to crumble up. All right, Coach, man. As always, y'all subscribe, share, like, follow. Big Thanks Kentucky. We got T-shirts for sale. Holler at us. We got sweatshirts. We got swag. We got ass coats. We got it all over, man. Make sure you holler at us. As always, make sure you be a living donor. I'm Coach Bew, my main man, Coach TB on the side, Coach Truck.
Hey.